Today, I'm going to talk about the principles that I've learned from the 7 failed businesses that I've started. I've started 8 businesses until now. And you might be asking yourself, why would I listen to this guy who's trying to find a title card? And it's because I've taken enough action to actually succeed. And almost all of the businesses that I've started have made money, even though I considered them failure. Why do I consider them failure? Because they weren't profitable enough or they didn't fit my values. But that's a topic for another video. Today's topic is about principle, and the first principle is the 90-10% rule. This is the 90-10% rule, and it goes just about like this. I've learned it from photography, from doing a business where I went to weddings, went to christenings, went to business events, and all those kinds of things to take photos. And let's say you have to send, in the contract, it says, well, if you sign a contract, you should. So you have to send 70 photos. 70 photos. How many do you think? Well, it's in the answer. That's the answer. The answer is you have to make at least 700 photos to make your life a lot easier to send 70. Because you cannot go back to the event and do another round of photos in order to send the 70s. So you better make sure that you have enough material and you catch everything, so many that you can discard 90% of them. It's fine if you can send, like, out of the 70, you over deliver and you send, like, I don't know, 120. Let's say 120. That's fine. You had a good day, you had a great subject, lighting, whatever, everything. You were on top of your game. But it's so much easier to send 70 photos instead of just shooting 100 photos and then sending 70. That's ridiculous. If you ask any, like, super experienced photographer, they probably have like 250,000 photos that they've shot, and they only got paid for less than 10%, maybe 1% of those photos. Then you might be thinking that's a waste of time. And it's really not a waste of time. It is practice. You got paid, you are at an event, you have the subjects, you have everything put together for you to practice in the best environment ever, where every second counts, so you might as well just take advantage of it. And that's the point here. If you have the clarity to understand this principle, you really, really will not fail as hard. Well, you will fail more, but the principle actually solves the equation of quality. The only way, and if you think otherwise, you are fooling yourself. The only way to get to quality is through quantity. It's so much easier to have 70 in this equation. So you do 100 photos and you have to send 70. To do quality 70, it takes 10 times the effort. It takes 10 times the effort, and plus these 70 photos will be worse. So it takes, let's say here it takes 4 hours, but here it would take 40 hours. So it would take 40 hours, and this will take 4 hours. 4 hours. So this with 4 hours of work will be better than this with 40 hours of work. Why? Because you have such a large margin of error. You can delete 9 photos and pick just one out of 9 photos. Of course, you're gonna get better and better and better photos, and you're gonna get so much better at photography. because you've taken thousands upon hundreds of thousands of photos. So that's the point. And in this idea of just selection, just selecting the photos, you learn even how to do and everything, all the mistakes that you are not conscious about, they will become super evident. You will have so much clarity of the mistakes that you are making constantly that you will improve so much more than this person who spent 40 hours trying to fix these 70 photos and trying to fix the unfixable, let's say. And this principle not only works in the event, the one event that happened, but it also works on a grander scale. Like, I've started this video this many times. I cannot count it. I don't want to count it. And it's not really important. But it works on a grander scale. Let's say instead of 700 photos, we are doing 700 events. And what might that look like? You only get paid for 10% of them. So you do 700 events and you get paid for 10% of them. You don't have to ask for permission. You don't have to do anything. You just do it that way. If you don't want to do any free work, you do it another way. Let's say it's video making. You want to do video making in terms of YouTube, and you fail at making 700 videos and you only post 70. It's going to be so much easier to talk in front of the camera, to understand what the problems are. And most people, they want to have not a 30%. That's high for so many people. A 30% failure rate is super high. People would just feel awful every single day. What they want and what they hold themselves to, so they judge themselves, they have this judgment, and they think that true judgment is how they get to quality. They want a 1% failure rate. Some people cannot even understand, they cannot, they judge themselves so much that even a 1% failure rate is too much for them. So that's why they never start a business. They never start a business, and they never build the proof that they've done that thing hundreds of times or thousands of times. That's why. Because they cannot tolerate even a 1% failure rate. If you can tolerate a 90% failure rate, success will be so easy. We're going to go into the second principle, but before we do that, we have to clean the whiteboard. So if you can tolerate the principle of 90-10, you will be able to make an amazing business for yourself, and not only one. You can make endless amounts of businesses. Oh no, look at how empty this looks. We are going to fill it. The second rule is the 500 rule. It's almost the same principle. And I know I lost 30% of the audience right now by saying that. But those of you who stayed are going to be in for a treat, because this goes in and really explains something. Everything that I'm talking about in this is built upon experience. And even if you understand these things, if you didn't put them to practice, let's put practice because it's so important and it's related to the same topic. The topic being 500, the rule of 500. It can be the rule of 1,000 or 2,000. It doesn't matter. It's a principle. It's the principle of practice. But let's say you want to start a YouTube channel. Okay, let's build a YouTube thing over here. I think that's how it looks. The first 3-minute video that you ever make, it will take you 100 units of effort to get the quality of 0.1% of your actual capabilities, the potential that you have. That's how many it will be at 0.1%. It will take you more than 3 minutes, of course, and it will take you 100 points of effort. Now, after 500 repetitions, you might think to get to a video of 3 minutes, let's write 3 min over here. To get to this 3 minutes and the same quality, it will take you maybe 1 unit of effort. To do the same video, it will take you, and it will actually be almost impossible for you to recreate such bad quality. Your base level right now will be about 20% quality. It's base level. You wake up, you have the worst day of your life, and you are able to do 20% just because you did the 500. But the crazy thing, and what you might not realize about the 500 rule is something else. Let's wipe this out. Where is it? It's over here, yes. Let's wipe this out, and this as well. Okay, let's make this beautiful again. What you might not realize about the 500 rule is this. Doing a 30-minute video, and let me ask you this. Like, how much effort, how many points of effort do you think it would take you to do 30 minutes after 500 repetitions? You might do these 500 repetitions in a day, or, well, not a day, that's almost impossible. But you could. There are, I think, 500 increments of 3 minutes in a day. Hopefully. I don't know. I'm not good at math. So you might think that this will take you, I don't know, 30 points of effort. It will not take you any points of effort. You will actually gain 30. You might actually gain 30 or be at around 5 points of effort. That's how powerful this 500 repetitions rule is. You will get energy, and not only that, but you will be probably at 60. If you gain energy, you will probably be at 60% of your potential, let's say for that year. Because if you take it like for your lifetime, it's not going to be 60. It's probably going to be like 6% of your potential. And that's just because you've built proof. Let's put it over here. And also, it's because you've taken massive amounts of action. That's the point here. You've taken massive amounts of action. You have the proof that you did it 500 times or more, depending on your way of shooting videos. And you've built so many good habits by doing the practice. And this is just to build the skill. Okay? It goes back to the 90-10% principle, and it's all about clarity. It's all about clarity. And in order to have this clarity and to introduce the concept that it's everything over here is built, and the other principle is built upon this, which is momentum. I'm going to put 2 pins over here because this is important. Momentum. Everything over here is about momentum in the small scale and in the big picture. If you fail at these 500, the last 501 will actually get you energy, and not only get you energy, but it will be so much better. It's 0.1% versus 60% of your potential of that year. The first, let's say you get to 500 videos in about 6 months. For that year, the potential, the first video will be at 1% quality. The 501 will be at 60% of your capabilities. And the only way that you can do 500 is if you lower the judgment. Now, for the last principle, this is going to be a nice one, and it's going to be a bit different. It's going to talk about money. And I know everybody is concerned. When is he going to teach us about business? This was all about practice and skills. Who wants to spend so much time failing and not taking action and not being the best they can be? Who wants to do so many things? This sounds like work. And let's show you why it's more than work. The idea is that a lot of my businesses were a failure because I didn't focus on this one thing, which was to know and see the future. You cannot predict the future, but you can assume that past things, I know it's in stocks whenever they say that past events do not affect and they do not guarantee future returns. But in business, they kind of do. Because if you know, like, during the first 100 days, the first 100 days, you make some cash, you make some money, then it's easy to know that after 1,000 days, you're going to make a bit more money or even more money. But the point is here, first, it's not really a principle, but it's you need to, if the goal is business and you want to make money, you have to make sure that your business is built on profit and not on promises. Promises. So it's not built on promises. You can lie to yourself so many times that it's gonna make money. It's gonna make money. It's gonna make money. No. Once you do make money, you will change. Everything will change. The way you do things. Everything will change the moment. I'm not saying it's gonna change for the better. It's probably gonna change for the worst for a few times, for a few moments. But at some point, it's going to get better and better and better. But not based on promises, based on dollar bills, baby. So you need to be tracking. Track and don't spend. Try to make the business for... I know people don't like this. You don't need money to start a business. You don't really need money. You don't need equipment. You don't need a camera. You don't need resources. You really don't need resources. You don't need a lot of resources. You already have what it takes right now to build a business. All the equipment that you have, it doesn't matter if you have a professional camera. Do you have a phone? Do you have a smartphone? Do you have a laptop? Do you have everything? Look around your house and look at anything. You can make money with this, okay? This and your smartphone and access to the internet by making whiteboard demonstrations or whatever. You can do whatever you want. Just start the business today. That's the principle over here. You have to follow the cash and as soon as possible today. Today, you have to start earning money with the business. All of the businesses that I've succeeded at and in making a lot more money than the ones that didn't make so much more money was were built upon this, upon today. Either it was selling, I don't know, crafts or making photos or selling my skills on freelancing websites. I got, and the most successful one, the first day I published a course, I got money. I got paid. That's super important, and I know it's not really as extensive as the other two principles, but it's very important. At least in the first 100 days to make your first money, if not today. If you can make your money today, you might have a business and you might not even know it. But try to avoid the promises, build it for free, track it, and of course, instead of promises, rely on proof. Proof. I think that's enough, and that's a great video. So I've done it. You might find yourself desiring a bit more to see how this went, how all of these went. You will find a link in the description with an unlisted video with the whole thing.